welcome back to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. Thank you for your love, for all of your support. I appreciate each and every one of you that have supported Stylish Naija YouTube channel. I actually don't take it for granted. Thank you so much. Okay, in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to cut and sew this back design on this dress. So we have back loops and then back drape. Okay, I'm just going to name this video how to sew slim back loop and drape on the back of a dress or a skirt. So that's what we're going to learn how to do. So I have my fabric here that I'm going to use for the back, and then I've got my tool here that we're going to use for the drape on the skirt part. So it is a very simple process. So I'm going to show you how to, if you want to achieve a detail like this on your dress. So that's what we will learn how to do. So if you want to register for my online classes, you can see my number scrolling through the screen. Just send me a message on WhatsApp. I'll give you the details of the classes that we have presently available. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to use our pattern to cut this out. So we're not going to cut them from scratch. So since I'm making a tutorial, so this is a long skirt. So for the pattern, you can actually use any skirt pattern of your choice. But for this, I'm just going to use just a pencil skirt. So my pattern is going to get to the knee level. So you can still, it's still the same process if you want to use it for a long skirt or a long gown. And then for our back pattern, so I'll use this to cut out my back pattern. Then before we create the loop on the back, and then we'll sew them and join them together. It is a very simple process. So I'm going to go ahead now, transfer this to my pattern, and then I'll transfer this, and then we'll just get straight into the tutorial. Okay, so I've cut out my back pattern. So I'm going to add the neckline now. So there's something I actually did while cutting out my back pattern. I did not add a zip allowance to this. So I took out 2 inches for my zip allowance. So there's no zipper allowance on this pattern right now. So the next thing now, we're just going to add the neckline on this. Just create any neckline of your choice. If you notice, it is a high neckline. So I'll just create the high neckline already. And then I've cut out my skirt pattern also. So I'll keep this on the side, and then I'll just open up the neckline part like this, and then I'll open this up. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to create our loop. That's the back loop space. So it depends on how wide you want it. So for this on the picture was actually about 2 inches. If you notice, it is like a V shape. You take 2 inches on the top, and then once you get to this down part, it reduces to 1 inch. So you're just going to create the V shape like this on this, like this, and then on the skirt part also. So for the skirt also, the loop extended into the skirt part just like a little bit. So for that skirt part, my zip allowance for my skirt is actually 1.5 inches. That's what I'm using for my zip allowance for the back skirt. But if you notice this down part, I'm going to take 1 inch, just the same 1 inch that I have here. I'm going to have 1 inch here that I'm going to use for my loop. So this part, I'm going to eliminate it. So my zip is going to start from here. So the loop is going to come down with about 4 inch. So you can take 5 inch, and then my normal zip allowance is going to start from this point. So this half inch, I'm going to cut this half inch off from my pattern. So my zip allowance will continue. So here's what I mean to say. So I'm just going to do this like this now, so that I'll get that shape. And then this front part, this top part, I'll eliminate that 2 inches. So plus the original zip allowance 2 inches that went off. So it depends on how wide you want it to be. So you can decide to use 1 inch. So it depends on what you want. So I've cut that out now so you can see what I have. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to go and create my loops. So in creating the loops, I'm just going to cut out a long strap of satin, and then I'll sew like this. So you can use bias. You can just use bias. So I think I'm going to use bias, or you create out something like this. So go over to the machine now, show you how to attach them before you turn it with the lining. So I'm going to attach those loops from this point to this point, and then I will join this to this. That's, I'll join the top part to the down part, and then I'll add my dart. So I'll join these two together, and then I'll create my loops on it. Okay, so you can see I've created some loops on my machine. So I use my bias. So I just folded it just like the way I explained earlier to you. So now I'm going to show you how to add, attach this loop. So it is a simple process. So you're just going to, depends on how, you can just randomly mark your your pattern. So what I have here, the mark I'm doing now, this is about 1.5 inches. So both for the front and the, that's the two sides. Make sure you mark them. Let them be on the same parts. So that actually helps a lot. But if they are different, it will give you problems. So make sure as you are marking them, make sure that they are sitting almost equally, so you can see. So I'm trying as much as I can. Okay. So I'll do the same thing to the skirt. So I'm going to show you. So we're going to work on one part. So this is the right side of our fabric. So that's where we're going to add the loop. Note, I'm not adding the loop like this. So I'm going to be turning them. Okay, you see now I've marked the wrong side of my satin. So I'm actually going to be placing the loops like this. This is how they are going to sit, the loops. They are going to sit facing this side like this on the right side of my fabric. So by the time we turn with lining, it's going to come like this. So I want you to note. So I'm going to remark my fabric on the right side now. Okay, so I've marked it now. So I'm going to show you, just like I explained now, my loops are going to stay, they are going to face the inside of my, they are going to be on the inside of my, the right side of my satin, facing inside, not outside. So please note. So I'll just place them, and then I'll just stitch, and then once I get to that part, I'll just stitch, and then I'll keep stitching them down like this until I'm done stitching all of them on it. So I'll finish it up, and then the same thing I did now, I'll do it on the skirt pattern also, and then show you how it will look like. Okay, so and the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to start draping for the back. So we're going to drape. So I decided to do it one, so it will be easier for you guys to understand. So normally you can decide to join before you do the drape, but it is better once you do it one and before you join, it's easier. So we'll be able to carry everyone along. So you are going to determine where you actually want your drape to come from. So from my armhole, I'm just going to come down to about 4 inches here. So this is where, how I'm going to do the drape for my back piece like this. So this is how I'm going to do it. I'll just mark where I'm going to attach it to. So the next thing now, I'm going to get my fabric. So I'm not going to use the stretchy part of my tool because I want it to be easy for me. So I'm going to use the normal part. So it is a very simple process. So you can drape this on the mannequin or on the dress form. So I'm going to drape it with this side that is not too stretchy. So you can fold however you want. So for this, I'm just going to fold that inside like this. So after folding, so I'm just going to, so draping literally is just, we're just trying to add pleats to our fabric, to our dress. So that's just it. So you can drape this however you want to drape it. So this is what I'm going to go and do. So since I've marked it, so I can see how it is. So you can see what I have here now. It's coming like this, it's sloping. So once I get to this part, I'm going to stop. So I think I have what I have here is enough. I'm going to stop now. So I'm going to cut this out, but note when I'm cutting out, I'm going to cut an excess for my down part like this, because after joining, I'm going to use this excess to cover it all up. So I'll cut this like this. So I'm just going to cut it now, and then I'll take it back to my, so I'm cutting it XS. So I'll take this back to my table, to my machine, and then I'll just go and stitch it down. So following that part that I marked, I'll sew this part down, and then this one is coming to this point. I will sew this down. So I'll have this extra. So you can see how simple it is, right? So I'll do this for this, and then for the skirt, so I'll just keep this. I don't want it to scatter. And then for the skirt part, okay, that's the lining piece. Okay, so this is for my skirt part. So for my skirt part also, I'm still going to mark. So on this zip part, I'm going to do 7 inches. So from here to here, I'll drape 7 inches, and then from here to here, I'm going to drape about 12 inches. Okay, so I'll show you how the drape is going to be right now. So for this drape, this one is going to come like this. So it's going to come like this. So we drape it like this. You understand? So the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to check our tool again to make sure we're not using the stretchy part, so it will be easier for us. And then I'm going to start this. So I'll leave an extra on the top part because I've not joined, an extra of about 2 inches or 3 inches, depends on what you want. Okay, so I'm even leaving about 3 inches, which is okay. And then I'm going to start. So for this now, I'm draping it down, let it face down like this. So you can see what I'm doing. So you can actually try this. And then once I get to this part, I have an extra, so I'm going to stop there now. I'm going to stop there because I have my mark here. And then I'm going to cut this up. So you can make it as full as you want. You can actually make it as full as you want. So the same thing, I'll take this to my machine, I'll secure it here, and then secure it here. And then I'll come back and show you how to turn it with your lining. So you are going to cut your lining the same thing with the back and the front. Okay, so I've done the skirt and the top, so you can see the extra fabric that I have, the extra two. So I'll take it back now, and then I'll join both of them together. If you notice, I stopped here, I didn't stitch it up to this end. So I'll join this together. After joining this together, this, what is remaining here, I'm just going to tuck it in and then cover this up. And then what is remaining here also, I'll tuck it in also and then cover it up. So after doing that, I'll cover it up. So I have my lining piece. So it's going to be one piece, and then I've got my lining piece. And I'll join my lining together also. I'll join my lining together, and then I will turn with my lining like this. So I'll place this here and then stitch it from the top to the bottom, and then stitch this from the top on the side to the bottom. So I'll do that, and then I'll bring it back and show you the final look. Okay, so guys, you can see at the end of the day, you can see how our V-shape back loops look like with our drape. So actually, I just made this tutorial for the essence of making this tutorial. So that is why I did not do the front part of the bodice. So I just wanted to show you guys that it is, when you see styles like this, it's not like a really big deal to actually create them. So if you find this video helpful, please hit on the like button, and if you are yet to subscribe to my channel, please subscribe to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. So you can see the zip parts here. So you can see, so your remaining allowance, you just add your zip on it. It is a very simple process, and then you zip it, and then from this part is where all the loops are starting from, and then you just loop it to the top. So thank you so much. If you find this video helpful, please hit on the like button. Thank you guys. I'll see you in my next video.